So, if you're going through a personal injury claim in Scotland, you've definitely heard the term medical evidence. It can sound a bit intimidating, right? But honestly, it's the single most important part of your claim. And in this explainer, we're going to break it all down, demystify it completely, and show you exactly how it works, and more importantly, why it matters so much.
You know, this quote really nails it. Think about it. Medical evidence isn't just another piece of the puzzle. Nope, it's the actual frame that the entire picture is built on. The strength of your claim, how much it's worth, even how long it takes, literally, everything revolves around this. So getting your head around it is absolutely key. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about what medical evidence actually is. We're calling it the engine of your claim. Then we'll see how that engine is built piece by piece. We'll get into the expert's crucial role, how all this stuff translates into pounds and pence, and then we'll tackle those annoying delays and disagreements. And we'll finish up with the vital part that you play in all of this.
Okay, Section 1. Let's really lean into this idea. Your medical evidence is the engine of your claim. Simple as that. Without a strong, reliable, well-documented engine, your claim is going nowhere. It just sits there. This is what provides all the power and gives it direction.
So what are we actually talking about here? Well, it's not just one single report. It's a whole collection of things, documents, expert opinions, that, when you put them all together, tell the complete story of your injury. It covers what happened, how it's messed with your life, and, this is the crucial part, what the future is likely to hold for your recovery.
This slide breaks it down perfectly into two main parts. On one side, you've got your records evidence. These are your GP at hospital notes. That's the raw data, the factual history, the what happened. But then on the other side, you have the expert opinion evidence. This is the specialist who looks at all that history and interprets it. They provide the what it all means for your claim. You absolutely need both of these working together to build a strong case.
So, how do we start building this foundation? Well, it all begins with your medical records. Everything, and I mean everything, gets built right on top of this first layer.
Now, you might be wondering, why does my solicitor need records from before my accident? It can feel a bit intrusive, right? But it's not about digging into your past. It's about creating a really clear before picture of your health. This baseline is the only way to prove exactly what changed because of the injury. It shows the contrast.
Getting these records is a pretty straightforward process. But, and this is a big but, it requires patience. Your solicitor puts in the formal request, but it's really important to note that getting them back from NHS Scotland can easily take 2, 3, sometimes even 4 months. And when they finally arrive, they're not just put in a folder. Your solicitor will go through them with a fine-tooth comb to make sure the story they tell is complete. All right, so once that foundation of records is in place, we bring in a really key player, the independent medical expert. Their whole job is to take all that raw clinical data and translate it into something the legal process can actually understand and use. And listen, not just any doctor can do this. An expert has to be a specialist in your specific injury, for sure. But just as important, they have to be completely independent. Their duty is to give an honest, objective opinion to the court, not just to be a cheerleader for your side. An expert whose opinion is balanced and well-reasoned, that carries so much more weight. At the end of the day, that expert report has one job: to answer the big questions that your whole claim hangs on. What exactly is the injury? Did the accident actually cause it? What does the road to recovery look like? And of course, how has this whole thing really impacted your day-to-day life?
Okay, so we've got the records, we've got the expert report. Now for the million-dollar question. Sometimes, literally. How does all this evidence get turned into a compensation figure? This is where the medical story connects directly to the money.
The main driver for the pain and suffering part of your claim, what's called solatium in Scotland, comes straight from that expert's report. All the little details they provide about what you've gone through, your recovery, any lingering issues, that's what forms the entire basis for this part of the valuation.
But it's not like your solicitor just picks a number out of thin air. The whole process is guided by an official framework called the Judicial College Guidelines. The best way to think of it is like a huge, detailed catalog that sets out compensation ranges for pretty much every type of injury you can imagine, from minor whiplash to something life-changing.
And this is how it all connects. The specific words the expert uses in their report, saying something like an injury is moderate with a full recovery expected in 18 months, that phrase maps directly onto a specific bracket within those guidelines. And that's how a medical opinion becomes a financial valuation. It's a direct link.
And hey, it's not just for the solitarian part.
the expert's opinion is also absolutely essential for proving your financial losses. Their assessment of your ability to work, that's what backs up any claim for lost wages. And their recommendations for physiotherapy or other treatments, that supports your claim for future medical costs.
Okay, now, let's be real. The process isn't always a smooth, straight road. Let's talk about two of the most common bumps in that road: delays and disagreements. Understanding why these happen can save you a whole lot of stress and frustration.
This is probably the #1 question claimants ask. You're feeling frustrated, you just want it to be over, but your solicitor is advising you to wait. It's a fair question. Why?
The answer boils down to one word: prognosis. That's just the expert's official forecast for your future recovery. And here's why it's so critical. A settlement is final. It's a one-and-done deal. If you settle your claim before the long-term picture is clear, you could end up accepting a number that doesn't come close to covering permanent issues that pop up later on. Waiting for a clear prognosis is all about protecting your future.
So what happens when the other side, the insurer, says they want their own expert to examine you? I know, it can feel a bit worrying, like they don't believe you, but it's actually a very normal part of the process, especially in more complex cases. It doesn't mean your claim is weak. It's just the other side doing their own homework and getting a second opinion. The court will then simply look at both reports and weigh the evidence.
Finally, let's talk about you. You are not just a passenger on this journey, waiting for things to happen. Your actions play a massive, vital role in building the strongest possible evidence for your claim.
So here's your simple checklist for success. First, get to all of your medical appointments. It shows you're taking your recovery seriously. Second, when you meet with the expert, just be full, accurate, and consistent. This is so important. Don't downplay your symptoms to be brave, but don't exaggerate either. Just be honest. And third, maybe keep a simple symptom diary. It's an amazing tool for remembering the day-to-day reality when you're talking to your solicitor or the expert months later.
So, to bring it all home, that medical evidence truly is the engine. It's what establishes the facts, what interprets their meaning, and what ultimately decides the value of your claim. And having a clear understanding of how that engine gets built and how it works, that gives you the power to navigate the whole process with a lot more confidence.
So we'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. Your medical evidence, it's not just a stack of papers. It's your story being told in a formal way. And the most important question you can ask for your own claim is this: is the evidence telling the full story of what you've been through?